You don't get surprised when you win, you expect it. Not because of luck, not because someone handed it to you, but because of who you are, how you show up, and the decisions you make every single day.
See, at the precise moment when I thought my life was ending, one of the things that mattered to me most was whether or not I mattered at all. Did I live? Did I do everything that I wanted to do in this life? Did I hold back at all? Did I run my race to win? Did I change anyone's life? Did I live? Now, interestingly enough, is that at no point did I ever think about, hey, were you successful? Were you happy? Because everything in that moment was about whether or not I was significant. I didn't die. And I get that that's confusing for some of you because you're like, yeah, but you're very pale. I know. We always have a choice, but we don't always like our options. Choice doesn't care about whether or not we like our options, and choice doesn't care about whether or not we're going to like the outcomes of our decisions. Choice simply says this: given all of your beliefs, your values, your judgments, your dreams, your experiences, given all of that, filter that all in, what it really wants to know is this: so what do you choose to do next? Are you swayed by convenience, or are you driven by conviction? Significant individuals, significant teams, significant organizations, they share two things in common. Number one is they have absolute clarity about who they are. And number two, and just as important, is they have confidence in who they are not. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever worked in an environment where you had to gauge the mood of someone else in order to determine the type of day you were going to have? Raise your hand. And how many of you are sitting next to that person right now? We have to spend the first few minutes of every day trying to figure out which version of this person showed up. Because we don't know, are we getting Silence of the Lambs or are we getting Mary Poppins? We don't know. The worst part about that behavioral model is when the person you just thought about when you raised your hand is in a managerial role. Why is that so damaging? Because you can't develop trust on your teams that way. See, we develop trust with each other based on our consistencies. And if someone is consistently inconsistent, then I am less likely to extend my trust to that person. I am more likely to keep to myself or go out and find others that I do trust, which is the beginning stages of your cliques and your silos. When you walk into a room, do people have an idea of who and what just showed up? Did problem creator or problem solver? Did cynic or optimist? Did the yes but or the yes and person just show up? The extent of our achievement isn't always going to be based on how many new things we take on. Very often it's going to be directly tied to how willingly and how quickly we can let things go. The questions that we need to ask ourselves about our fears is: what opportunities are we missing? What conversations are we not having? What risks are we not taking? What goals are we not achieving?
I opened a coffee shop 2 days before the world shut down. We still became the best coffee house of the year. I coached a team from 49th to number 6 in the state. Different challenges, same mindset.
The significant life isn't one that requires you to be perfect enough to walk on water. The significant life is the one that challenges you to get out of the boat. Sometimes we think rocking the boat is enough, and maybe sometimes it is. But I promise you that there's someone in here who has an idea that you have not acted upon yet because you're worried about stepping out of the boat. How different would our lives be? How different would our relationships be? How different would our connections be? How different would this world be if we simply stayed focused on the things that matter most?